Good evening, welcome to the Lamex. And to Spurs play for tonight's final of the Premier League Cup. The under-17s preparing to play against Charlton Athletic tonight. They have done it again. This group in another final. Sat tonight with Clive Allen. Clive, you and I were here 2 years ago for the under-17s to win this competition, and you thought that was a really special group and maybe they were unique and it wouldn't happen again, and all of a sudden here we are all over again.
Yeah, and I think it's a great tribute to the academy, the way that they develop the players. Obviously from that group a number have gone on to play league football and certainly start to force their way into the manager's thinking in the first team group. Mikey Moore, the obviously one that's been quite unbelievable in his progress, but it all started on a night like this where these young players are exposed to this experience and can take it into their careers as they grow.
And how much I'm sure they will be able to take from that group. We have of course seen 6 academy players feature for the Spurs first team this season, and others who've gone out on loan and who are doing extremely well, the likes of Jamie Donnelly from that final just 2 years ago. And here we go, all over again. Well, they have done it again. It's another cup final for the academy. And another shot at silverware for Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen. Well, Spurs lifted the Premier League Cup 2 years ago under the guidance of Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen on a night when Mikey Moore mesmerised and Jamie Donnelly dazzled. There is a new group, but that same fearless spirit remains. The Tottenham Hotspur Academy gets ready again for another night of glory. Charlton are tonight's opponents, the first Category 2 team to make it to a final. And that should perhaps be ignored, because on their way to reaching this final they have beaten several Category 1 teams: Manchester United, Southampton, Arsenal and Fulham. This will not be a rollover here tonight, that is for certain. Well, let's have a look at the teams, and we will start with Spurs. Blake Iro continues in goal, as he has done all the way through this competition, with no Malachi Hardy. Ty Hall moves from midfield into defence. The big news is the return of star man, our number 10, Luca Williams-Barnett. Ellis Lehane, who scored in the semi-final against Derby, gets the nod in attack ahead of Reece Elliott-Paris. And for Charlton, well, last season Charlton won the Professional Development League Cup at under-16 level. Goalkeeper Finlay Woodham saved a penalty in that final, and he has had another excellent season for Charlton in goal. Jack Belton is a no-nonsense midfielder, very highly regarded, and his battle with Luca Williams-Barnett should be really interesting to watch. Manu Wales is a former Spurs Academy player, so I'm sure he will be looking to make an impression. And Ruben Reid scored both of the goals in the quarter-finals, also scored in the semi-final as well, in the win over Manchester United. Well, there is a style with this team, Clive. They like to play attacking football, and that's probably an understatement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're given free rein in that respect, certainly in the final third, to express themselves, to create chances and score goals, and that is something that Stuart and Bradley have instilled in this group, and they've done that on their way to qualifying for this final place this evening.
Stuart said something to me before the game that was really interesting, that this season the focus was to be a bit more possession-based. Because this is a younger group, they don't really want to get caught in a physical battle.
No, moving the ball quickly is vitally important. I think, Charlton will carry physicality tonight. It is about how you deal with that, moving the ball quickly to nullify the physical threat that the opponents have. And this is a group that can move the ball very swiftly.
Our captain for this evening is Junai Byfield, who has been recognised within the England setup at under-17 level. And he has been one of the players over the course of this season who has really caught the eye.
Yeah, an outstanding talent who's developing particularly well, earmarked from a very early age and has grown in stature, but certainly in a captain's role tonight has a vital part to play.
And it's a vital role to play because there is no Malachi Hardie, who will be a big loss without question because he's so composed and so mature at the back. So the responsibility in his absence falls on the shoulders of Junai Byfield, our captain and number 4. Well, we are just about ready to get underway. There was a long delay, and there has been a delay tonight because the Charlton team bus broke down, as I understand things. Possibly advantage Spurs, but both have had to wait.
Yeah, Adam, will be really interesting to see the way that this Charlton group adapts, because obviously preparation's disrupted. Spurs were here on time. Everything in terms of their preparation has gone exactly how they wanted. For this group of Charlton players, excitement about being in the final, the adrenaline's pumping, and all of a sudden things don't quite go to plan. It'd be very interesting to see how they start this final.
Spurs players last night were in a hotel in Stevenage to try to get them prepared for big games. It's all part of the learning experience. They should be settled. They should be ready. It looks as though we are. And there is the whistle, and off we go. This exciting young group of Spurs players looking to add their names to the academy history books, and well, the focus on attacking football instantly displayed as Teenan Thompson goes bursting away down the left-hand side, and what a brilliant season he's had on that left. Yeah,
he's going to be a really bright player in the future, certainly positive in the way that he attacks down that touchline immediately.
Byrne will give it back to Thompson. Has such a wonderful attitude, as lots of this group do. Spurs have lost it, and the chase to get back is one that Williams Barnett leads. Not normally part of his game, but he's stolen the ball. A few crunching challenges in the early stages, and we did see that last season as well in that game with Nottingham Forest.
Absolutely, fast and furious. There's so much pent-up energy. The adrenaline's flowing. It's a cup final, and everybody's trying to make their mark very early in the game.
Apologies, not last season, season before, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Well, Davis is the fullback on this left-hand side for Charlton, and he gets it and strides away from George Feeney in the Spurs midfield. That was a nice touch from Ty Hall, who steps back into the position left by Malachi Hardie tonight. Not his normal position for Ty Hall, wearing number 5 for Spurs this evening. Normally plays in midfield, but he has shown such a propensity to defend that he was happily selected to make that move there. The other option may have been to play Upson, but he stays at right back for this one this evening.
Yeah, I don't think it disrupts, and these young players obviously are given licence to play in different positions, adapt to situations, playing in various roles. And Ty Hall will be very comfortable alongside Junai Byfield at the heart of Spurs' defence.
Byfield waits for Thompson to get into position, and Byrne cuts the ball infield to Williams Barnett. Spurs danger man is on his way, and he has made his mark.
What a start, an incredible goal from Lucas Williams Barnett. A magnificent strike at the end of what was a mesmerising run. Fabulous control, weaves past the defenders and then fires it in from the tightest angle.
Well, he is a star in the making. Luca Williams-Barnett twisting clear. Shows wonderful footwork to get himself into position, and what a finish too. Another brilliant goal from the talented feet of Spurs number 10, Williams-Barnett.
Well, first Spurs attack, and it's in the back of the net. That is the most perfect way to start this cup final. And Williams-Barnett showing great confidence, ability, and then a superb finish.
Well, he scored 17 goals in the league this season in 14 appearances. And that one an absolute peach to get us started. We saw Mikey Moore, of course, in this competition 2 years ago, electrify and dazzle. And now it's another Spurs number 10, Luca Williams-Barnett, who is stealing the show here.
Yeah, just pulled up for the challenge there, but Spurs going after the ball quickly, trying to win back possession. We talked about Charlton's preparations. Were they unsettled? They certainly, all of a sudden now, have to try to claw their way back into this cup final.
Commanding header from Byfield to get the ball away. Thompson, the Spurs winger, hustling, harassing, trying to get there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, really good intensity, the way they're closing down, the way they're harrying Charlton, not allowing them to settle in any way at the start of this game.
Hooked on by Moncur and sent straight away back by Charlton. And they've tried the direct route on a couple of occasions. This time Ty Hall has nodded the ball away and Charlton can have a run here. And it's Tago who cuts in from the right-hand side to have a go. And Ty Hall who covers the space, and it's a big deflection away and a first corner of the game for Charlton.
And it's a good deflection because Tago comes in on his favoured left foot off the right side, fires the shot, goal bound, and Ty Hall makes sure that he gets a touch to flick it away to concede the corner.
Good response from Charlton. Blistering start to the game. Headed away well by Spurs at the back.
Well, he started really well, Ty Hall. Couple of interceptions. The flicked clearance there, blocking the shot. He looks very, very composed at the heart of Spurs' defence.
Moncur will flick the ball around the corner to Byrne. He's got a wonderful left foot, the Spurs left back, and can open up the angles for some really lovely passes. Williams-Barnett threads it through. Lehane is sprinting clear, and he cuts it back, and it needed the clearance on the goal line.
And it was very close, Adam, as to whether it crossed that goal line.
Thompson is still probing and pushing and trying to find an angle into the penalty area. Spurs are on top, trying to force their advantage, but it won't drop for the chance for Moncur, who was waiting. And now Charlton are breaking clear, and Upson does ever so well to step back, gets there first. Flag was raised.
Well, did this cross the line? Lahane's shot was definitely deflected past the keeper and very close to crossing the line.
Well, Ellis Lehane hasn't actually been as free scoring as he was last season in this one for the under-18s, but he's scored in the big games. If you look back at his record over the season, Arsenal, West Ham, Palace, Chelsea, Fulham. Also scored in the semi-final of this competition as well. A big game player who very nearly scored the second of the night.
Yeah, Williams-Barnett went down. He seems to be okay. He's back on his feet now.
It was a really interesting story about Williams-Barnett earlier on in the season when Jamie Donnelly scored from the halfway line. And it got through, it filtered through the information that he'd scored against Manchester City. And it was in the dressing room for the under-18s. And so Williams-Barnett went out in the game against Brighton and tried to recreate it and did exactly the same and scored from the halfway line. Not for the first time this season either. I mean, that's his mentality. That's
anything you can do.
And I don't mind it.
Not at all. He has the belief in his and confidence in his own ability.
Teenan Thompson was the target with the ball on the left-hand side. Spurs are having plenty of joy out there, and Williams-Barnett is often very close to Teenan Thompson.
Yeah, and what I like about it, they're starting with a real intent. When they haven't got the ball, they're closing, they're harrying, they're winning the ball back, but then when in possession, they're playing with some quality.
There's that burn pass. Spurs get the ball out to the left back, and he's got this wonderful space. Able to pass the ball to the more creative players who can do the damage.
I think you're right, Adam. I do like the way that he distributes the ball from that left back position, Harry Byrne. He will get forward, he'll go and support Teenan Thompson on that left side, but his distribution, I think, is one of his strengths.
Williams-Barnett is the one in the left-back position. Back to our captain for the night, Janai Byfield. Burn again. And this time into the feet of Thompson, and he loves this move, the cutting field away from the left-hand side. He's able to go on the outside towards the line and cutting field as well. And that just makes him so unpredictable for any fullback that he comes up against.
Absolutely, and for any defence, because if they can show him outside, they know he's going outside, they can, but driving infield and linking with them central midfield players really can disrupt any defence.
Williams-Barnett looks to the other side to Miracle Adewole. Not had much of a chance to get into the game just yet, but also as threatening on that right when that ball is sent in his direction.
Well, it's taken 10 minutes, but the game has just calmed a little, and control from Spurs has been excellent.
Teenan Thompson runs into trouble. Manu Wales, the former Spurs player, might be wearing 10, but he's mostly been defending in the game so far. Charlton have soaked up the pressure here. They might be a Category 2 team, but well, they are very successful. They are right up at the top of the league. They won the Professional Development League, League 2, last season. They won a cup as well. And they churn out players as well. I mean, there have been some brilliant talents that have come through. Ezri Konsa, for example. Ademola Lookman was with this group, Joe Gomez.
Yeah, and they've done remarkably well to get here, as you said, beating Arsenal, Southampton and Manchester United on their way. The semi-final result was a surprise, but then looking at their progress, they've done superbly well to get to this final.
And there is a pathway to their first team as well. They've got lots of players who've this season played in League One and been influential, likes of Miles Leeburn and Tyrese Campbell. Spurs on the attack again. No way through for Teenan Thompson on this occasion. And Wales brings the ball away. And there is Thompson, tenacious. And turning and trying to get himself into crossing position again, but he ran out of room.
Excellent. Real progress down that left-hand side. Harry Byrne and Teenan Thompson combining with Luca Williams-Barnett just on the inside of them. That triangle there, working the ball particularly well, carrying a real threat on that side, Spurs. And Ty Hall started with some real authority.
Upson's giving the ball away here, but he's won it back crucially. Stepped across. And there may well have been a situation there involving Ruben Reid and Upson.
Upson was thrust into the boards there.
Well, the physio team for Spurs race across, but the whistle doesn't blow.
Well, Janai Byfield is asking the referee because he was just shoved as he played that ball down the line and ended up against the boards, crashed into the boards.
Well, more than anything, you heard it. I mean, you heard the
That's
clatter.
right, Adam.
Hopefully, he will be okay. Elijah Upson, who has been one of the players who we've really seen progress and make strides, especially since the start of the new year, become a very different player, a lot more confident on the ball, and a lot more confident in his ability since we've come into 2025.
Absolutely, confidence, and it's good to see him now sitting up, but confidence and consistency in his game. He looks to be okay, which is very important, because when you're off balance and you get knocked in that manner, you've just got no control, and he crashed into the boards. He looks to be fine.
Well, for now, Charlton are on the attack. They've been forced back to halfway. It's not too long before they'll play that long diagonal. Upson waiting to come back on. And Wales trying to instigate. Unable to do that. Was under the watchful eye of Feeney. And Upson back onto the field, which is good news for Spurs.
Yeah, and you just see the way he plays the ball up line. He's off balance, and then he's shoved and pushed into the hoarding.
Well, the corner was allowed to travel a long way, but Spurs have swept it clear.
Well, it's an aimless corner, really. The opportunity to deliver, and passed up by Charlton on that occasion. Ruben Reid, it was a poor delivery.
Very good 15 minutes for Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen's team so far. Lehane running the channels, as he is always so happy to do. His all-round game has really developed over the course of this season. Has always been a goal scorer, always had an eye for goal, but it's his hold-up play, the way he runs the channels, and the strength that he's built over the season that has really come on.
Yeah, and it's really important, leading the line, that your teammates have confidence in playing the ball into you, that you can hold it, you can link the play. And he's certainly showing attributes in that way.
We've lost the feed, yeah? Here comes Wales. Lots of space over there, but the pass wasn't quite the one that Tago wanted. We have seen over the course of the season that this Spurs team score a lot of goals, but they also concede lots of goals too. And Stuart Lewis and the coaching staff have been working on that as Charlton find their way in. Spurs were looking for a flag. Byfield did well, stood his ground, and Spurs get the ball clear. They were defending very deep. Everybody just stopped for a moment.
They did stop, they just switched off, and Deontay Davis just made a really good run. I thought he should have taken on the shot. He got himself into the 18-yard box, tried to cut it back, and Byfield cut that pass out. But just switched off for 1 second, and that's what happened. At any level, you can get punished. And that was disappointing in respect of the whole back four not working and not staying alive.
Iro sounded as though he was clattered into. He got the clearance away as far as Williams-Barnett. The ball doesn't stick. And it's Charlton again into the area. Quick thinking from Iro. Big appeal from the Charlton fans here. They were looking for a penalty. Yeah, the referee was close by, though.
It was close at hand, the referee, but also it was a brave dive by Iro at the feet of the attacker, and no penalty for me. Clearly played the ball.
It's clever hold-up play by Tina Thompson. Was thinking about releasing the pass. Spurs are boxing clever.
Yeah, just need to take some control with possession. Even rest with the ball at this moment in time. Just take the sting away from Charlton, who just built up a head of steam in the last 5 minutes.
Williams-Barnett with a driving run, runs into a big challenge from Elliott, who came sliding in.
Yeah, good, well-timed tackle from Elliott, just overrunning it slightly, Williams-Barnett.
Spurs trying to find room in that midfield area, but it's a quick transition here from Charlton. And Ruben Reid cuts it back, and Wales, the former Spurs boy, makes it 1-1. Really classy finish. Swift breakaway, Spurs are caught out, and it's perfect placement.
It's a really well taken goal, because they regain possession of the ball. Ruben Reid with Upson on the right. He holds him up, but then he decides just to roll it square. No one's close enough really to get to Wales, who drives it back into the bottom corner. It's a really fine strike, but no pressure on the ball, and it ends up in the back of the net.
Well, we knew that Charlton would bring quality, and we knew that he would want to make an impression. Moved on by Spurs, wasn't given the contract that perhaps he was looking for. Often the way in youth team football, and so often the way that former players want to score against their old teams.
Yep, I'm sure he enjoyed that, but from Spurs' point of view, disappointing in the way that they defended. The way Ruben Reid was allowed time and space to set the ball back for Wales, who takes it really well.
And Williams-Barnett obviously scored a wonderful goal, but we've not seen much of him since then. He's the key player so often for Spurs. The one that can unlock the door. Ruben Reid has seen plenty of the ball on this left-hand side for Charlton, and he's driving forward again here. Had strength, had muscle. Tago on the other side also looks like a dangerous operator too.
Yeah, Charlton having a good spell. They've just dropped a little bit too deep, Spurs, where that early pressure intensity, closing Charlton down, winning the ball back early. They've dropped off, and Charlton are in the ascendancy at the moment.
Well, Wales hopped, skipped, and got the free kick.
Yeah, it's George Feeney, I think, who's penalised. He gets it caught under his feet. He actually stands on his left boot, does George Feeney, and the referee gives the free kick in a very dangerous position. Amazing, just that fraction of a percentage of intent and energy from Spurs have just allowed Charlton to build up a head of steam and get themselves back into this cup final.
Well, it couldn't be more dangerously placed here, on the edge of the D, in a central position with the opportunity to look for both sides. Blake Cairo, the Spurs goalkeeper, has made sure he thinks that that right-hand side of him is safe. Yeah,
he's set the wall up to deny maybe the left-footed player to go round the wall. Ruben Reid, right-footed, left-footed strike. Good wall. Forces it high and over the crossbar.
We have to remember that this is a Spurs team that are very much first-team scholars, or first-year scholars for the most part. There are a couple who were within the group at the end of last season, but because they are first-year scholars, occasionally what you do see is there may be a few mistakes. There may well be, you know, a few emotional moments, and it should be expected. We've come to expect a lot from this group because they've been so good and shown so much promise.
Absolutely, Adam, and that is all part of their development. It is situations that they've perhaps not experienced before. It is coping with all those emotions that you're in this situation.
Thompson's drive, and Spurs appealing Well, they will get a corner. I think there was a shout for a handball.
I think it does hit Elliott's arm. I'm not sure there's real intention. He's turning his back, hits his right arm. I think that would be very harsh had a penalty been given. Good strike. Corner kick.
Spurs goal scorer looking to turn provider this time. Luca Williams-Barnett, who has had such a sparkling season. Lays it short, Thompson waiting. Spurs change the angle of attack, but it's not the best of deliveries. It goes all the way through.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there, Williams-Barnett. Just bobbled up as he's trying to work the short corner and then cross deep to the far post, and he just scoops it way, way wide.
Byfield came to get to the header. So Loza, the number 9 for Charlton, got there. We'll break kindly here for Adewale to sprint away out to the right-hand side. Not often been in a one-on-one position, and he's got 2 for company here. Managed to get the cross away, easily headed on by Charlton, back out to the other side where Thompson waits. Yeah,
most of the play's been on that side. First time really we've seen Adewale running at Davis.
Thompson's ball nearly perfect. Feeney was racing to get there, and Charlton got there, and they needed to, just in time.
Yeah, good work again from Thompson, getting to the byline this time, trying to cut it back into that danger area. He really is carrying a threat on that left-hand side for Spurs. Well, the last one was played short. I'd be wanting him to deliver this into the box to give the centre halves who are up something to attack.
Well, he's gone for the front post, and it was pretty packed with red shirts. Charlton flick away. Hall is still forward, and he's done well. Cries of shoot as it comes to Burn.
Well, it's on his favoured left foot. I think the cries of shoot came from the technical area. It might well have been my brother Bradley screaming at him to fire it in, take it on, have the confidence. Just doesn't hit the target.
Oh, Thompson does ever so well, stolen it back. And looking to do something positive with it, but again, it's that final ball that isn't quite right.
Yeah, Lahane was the only target in the 6-yard box. Really good pressure to win it back, but then Thompson over-hitting the cross when Ellis Lahane was the only target in that 6-yard box.
Well, Charlton are very happy to sit back.
Yeah, I think getting themselves back into this game, they're quite happy now to drop off, allowing Spurs possession, but they just need to move that ball a little bit quicker.
They should be able to do that with Ty Hall in there, because his normal position is midfield and has got a range of passing, and by moving a midfielder back into that area gives you the chance to start attacking moves all the way back in defence. Although every single training session, so I hear, Spurs players have a ball at their feet, so they should all be pretty technically well adapted to the way that Spurs play.
Absolutely. You can hear the call coming from the technical area for Janai Byfield to carry that ball forward, to try to commit the Charlton midfield players. Just try to get them to engage, so then you can release and play through the lines.
Thompson, who's been with the academy since under 12 level, tried to skip away and touch the ball back towards Byrne. He was clipped as he did, so it will be a Spurs free kick.
Yeah, Tago just tries to strike for the ball but catches Thompson.
Thompson, curling ball, not really the one that a player like Miracle Adewole was after anyway. And in any case, it was long and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, the idea was good. Adewole just crept in a little bit too narrow. Needs to give himself that little bit more space, stay a little wider so that he can attack the cross as it's delivered in that back post area.
Adewole felt that he was held back there.
He certainly was. Davies just stepped across him, blocked him, trying to get onto the loose ball.
Here is Solozar. And he couldn't go through Ty Hall. Covered the ground. Will be a corner here for Charlton. And it's one that's taken short, and Wales has lots of room here on the edge of the box. Byfield showing that he wants to get forward. Williams-Barnett offering good strength. He's kept the ball for Spurs.
Yeah, drove forward. He brushed an opponent aside and then was prepared to run with it to take the team up the field, wins the throw-in.
Here is Moncur. And Thompson. Which way is he going to go? Straight through the middle. Byrne. Not this time.
Clever ball. No one reacting in the 18-yard box from the Byrne cross.
Well, the challenge was certainly late on Tago.
Yeah, I think Ronnie Moncur gets some of the ball, but it's just the nature of the challenge.
One of a number of players with in the setup who has famous footballing family.
Yeah,
know his uncle well, don't you?
He certainly does, yes. I played with his uncle, who's a fabulous midfield player, John Moncur, at Spurs and at West Ham.
Byfield covers the corner and then he was caught from behind, and Tago gives away a free kick.
Well, that's Tago again, fouling Williams-Barnett. But Spurs get on with it quickly.
Not 100% sure the free kick should have been taken from there, but the game is allowed to flow, and that bit we don't mind. Charlton in with a couple of robust challenges. And Ruben Reid has looked like a dangerous customer on this left-hand side. Spurs have it back, and Iro makes the clearance. All looked a bit risky for a moment.
Yeah, it's just that straight ball that's on target. Anything blocked there would end up ricocheting in the back of your net. Just a risky ball back there from Ty Hall to the goalkeeper.
Upson straight through the middle for Lehane.
Yeah, straight balls like that have to be absolutely perfect. Very, very difficult for any striker to get on when it's hit straight and fast and running away from you. Well, after what was an electric start from Spurs and real intent, good pressure, certainly unsettled Charlton. I think you've got to give them credit for settling, getting themselves back into this cup final.
Charlton trying to work something here on the left-hand side. And Wales, who's seen a lot of the ball, trying to orchestrate. Brilliant challenge, but the ball lands pretty well here for Charlton, and Wales is away from Upson, who gets back. Adewale is back on defensive duty, trying to help out. Has played it right back on a number of occasions over the season, so he knows where to position himself. Charlton have an opportunity here. It's wildly hit in the end by Reed, nowhere close to the target and wide.
Yeah, the disappointing thing was the quality of the finish, because his footwork was good, creates the opportunity and the angle to try to wind that into the far corner, but in the end, horribly wide.
Well, you can understand why Charlton have done so well in this competition against Category 1 academies, because they're awkward and plucky.
Very determined and physical when they have to be, but have some ability. Certainly Ruben Reed has impressed off this left side in the first half. Wales is starting to be influential in that central midfield position. And this is going to be a very, very good contest.
And interestingly, Charlton started tonight with their top goal scorer on the bench, which is a move we weren't expecting, but we would expect to see Macmillan at some point in the game.
I'm sure we will. He scored in both the previous 2 rounds as Macmillan. He's sitting on the bench. He'll be desperate to get involved.
Thompson's ball in. Spurs have done it again. Well, it's another moment to add to the ever-growing highlights reel of Luca Williams-Barnett.
Well, we said that threat was coming down the left-hand side, and Thompson again causing all sorts of problems, but this time he finds the perfect delivery. Williams-Barnett finds himself a little bit of space. Good pass from Thompson. Side foot finish, clinically tucked away by Williams-Barnett for his second of the night.
Really smart finish, just used the pace of the ball as it came in. And it's wonderful work again from Teenan Thompson, swaggering away down that left-hand side to create. Wonderful combination, those two. Doing the business again for this group. The under-17s in this final of the Premier League Cup are on top once more. Been on the back foot for a while. They've had to withstand some pressure.
Yeah, they have come under a little bit of pressure, but it's quality play which has given them the lead. And it's come from the influential Teenan Thompson, who's been outstanding on that left-hand side.
Well, there is a bit of an eagerness within the coaching setup, as I'm sure you would agree, Clive, for this team to be a bit more defensive. We'll get to that in a moment, because Charlton are attacking and trying to look for an instant response. And it's Reed who is forced wide by Upson, but I understand in training they have been trying to keep score of who's been keeping clean sheets, who has the most blocks, and trying to make sure there's some kind of accountability. And now Spurs need to resist, because Charlton are pushing again.
Well, absolutely, something you'd be looking for in the group, to develop that ruthless streak in terms of wanting to defend. Defending is as good as scoring at the other end if you're keeping clean sheets. It's part and parcel of the game. Teams who keep clean sheets, invariably, they only need one to win, and it's something they have to learn at a very young age, having that desire to maintain those clean sheets.
If this group keeps a clean sheet, you would imagine they win almost every game, because
absolutely
they've got so much attacking talent.
And it has to be a mindset. It has to be a target every single game.
Yeah, there have been some fairly wild scores for this group of players over the season. 6-4 with Arsenal sticks in the memory.
Adam, you get it all the time with academy football. It is all part of that progress and that learning curve that they're on.
It was a win, though, in the North London derby, so we'll take the 6-4.
Absolutely.
Ty Hall goes searching, and that's a really lovely ball, well taken down by Thompson too.
Oh, great vision, but then to execute that diagonal perfectly into Thompson. He's had a good start to this game as Ty Hall, as has Thompson.
Yeah, he's been a real nuisance all season long on that left-hand side, Thompson.
Well, he's just bright, he's determined, he's positive in the way that he keeps attacking the fullback. Here, draws the centre-half out, wins the corner kick.
Williams-Barnett goes low.
Oh, it's a clever corner kick, but no one anticipated him driving that ball into the 6-yard box along the floor.
Wonderful technique. Well, it feels as though this is a big 5 minutes coming up here for Spurs before the break. Stuart Lewis on the side of the pitch enjoyed that from Teenan Thompson.
Fabulous work, and keeps possession of the ball, excellent. Stuart, you can see clapping his left winger there, really happy with his work. And you're right, Adam, 5 minutes to go to half-time.
Off he goes, weaving his magic. It's Spurs number 10, Luca Williams-Barnett, who did ever so well to wriggle clear and found Feeney, but it just bobbled up, made the chance a difficult one.
Wonderful skill, 3 red shirts around him, gets to the byline, keeps it in play. Feeney trying to sweep the ball in, blocked, corner kick. So dynamic is Williams-Barnett. Confidence in the ball, the way that he runs, carries the ball, draws defenders, glides past them.
He certainly looks in the mood for this one here tonight. Looking for Thompson. There were a few looking for the flag.
Yeah, it was a clever corner kick, but Thompson just couldn't deliver from the byline, and they worked the short one.
Ruben Reid. And Adewole protests his innocence. There may have been some contact there.
Yeah, it was a challenge from behind. You see he's the wrong side. The centre forward just gets the run on him, clips his heels, free kick given. And a free kick in a dangerous position just before half-time.
Blake Iro is not getting the attention of the Spurs wall that he's looking for here.
Oh, they have just stepped to the right now. I think he said it quite a number of times.
And Reed's left it. Tago sends in, and Iro had to improvise to push away. Saw that one very late, but he did react in the end, and he did push away.
And he just got fingertips to it. I think he's going to try and catch it. He then changes his mind. In the end, he literally just gets fingertips to push it away. He's a little fortunate there, is Blake Iro. But he kept it out. The most important thing is keep it out the back of the net.
Well, he's not Spurs regular number 1 in the league. Sam Archer if you're not a regular watcher of this group, would be the one that Spurs would go for. But he's had his chance in cup competitions, Blake Iro. It's good running here by Wales into an awkward position for Charlton. Comes looking for support, finds that support, and that is a fairly wild effort from Jack Belton.
Yeah, first time Jack Belton gets himself into a higher position. Wales again, good run, awareness just to roll it back, rolls it nicely to be hit first time. I think Ronnie Moncur just does enough in terms of closing him down and putting him under pressure, not allowing him a clean shot at the target.
Well, Ellis Lehane trying to keep the ball at this end of the field in any way possible.
Yeah, hustling and bustling. That's exactly what you need your centre forward to do.
Charlton looking for that equaliser again, and Spurs have backed off again. Upson nearly caught out, and he spins away from Reed. Very calm.
And Charlton, when they've had their good spells, it is a case of the back four's just dropped a little bit too deep. They're actually back inside the 18-yard box. They need to just step up that, be brave and step up that yard higher, stay outside the box, and then get that little bit more pressure on Charlton in that area.
Here we go. Here comes Thompson. Thompson into Williams-Barnett, who was stumbling and struggled to get the shot away. It looked as though it was about to be a chance for the hat-trick, but he's put it wide.
Yeah, great Thompson run again. Williams-Barnett is alongside him, and then he just gets it caught under his feet. Tries to just get it out in front so that he can strike it just underneath him. Can't get any purchase in the strike. But those two combining really well down that left-hand side.
Well, one thing you'll always see from Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen are a group of players that are very confident when it comes to expressing themselves, and those two in particular typify that spirit that comes with those two in particular.
Yeah, it's giving those young players a licence in the final third to express themselves, to sense the opportunity, to show their ability, have the confidence in their ability, as we've certainly seen with Thompson and Williams-Barnett this evening. Well, this might well be within shooting distance, this free kick late in the first half. Williams-Barnett was fouled. He's on a hat-trick. I'm guessing he might well be taking this on.
You think?
I know Harry Burns there, but I think Williams-Barnett is going to be striking this.
100%. Not a doubt. Will be Luca Williams-Barnett, who goes for the corner, and the goalkeeper, I think, probably saw that fairly late through that clutch of players, but he does make a good stop.
Yeah, it wasn't hit with fierce pace, and the goalkeeper drops on it comfortably.
Burn, quick ball round the back, and Lehane, well, he's kept that one in play.
Good run, well held up by Lehane.
Thompson sells the dummy, gets it back. Lovely from Spurs. Teenan Thompson looking for the acrobatics. Well, he had to go for it, but it will be a free kick.
Yeah, dropping out the sky, but again, good combination. Thompson, Williams-Barnett, and then trying the overhead kick as it pops up in the air. Jack Bolton's across just to block it, win the free kick.
Half-time in this Premier League Cup final for the under-17s, and he is the man that has put Spurs on top at the break. 2 goals from Luca Williams-Barnett. They just keep on flowing for this young man. Spurs are in the driving seat here at the Lamex. A big 45 minutes is coming up. At the break, Spurs 2, Charlton 1. Welcome back for the second half from here at the Lamex of this Premier League cup tie between Spurs and Charlton. Spurs are a goal ahead, leading by 2 goals to 1, thanks to 2 strikes from Luca Williams-Barnett. Well, Charlton have shown plenty of attacking intent and plenty of talent in this game. And what will be crucial, as we spoke about at half-time, Clive, will be another Spurs goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that will give them that little bit of confidence and that buffer. But for me, it is about moving the ball quickly, trying to deny Charlton the opportunity to press in the way that they have. Retaining possession of the ball, but also playing, I always say, playing away from the pressure, not allowing the pressure to get on top of you because you move the ball quickly and efficiently. I think I've told Stuart that many a time when he played in midfield for me in the development squad, so he will hopefully have remembered that.
Well, Stuart didn't look so happy in the dugout there.
No, he looked a bit furious at the lack of movement for the throw-in when it was taken.
Clearance away by Dawkins. Gets the Upson treatment. Lehane misjudging that one. And again, it's the direct route that Charlton take, and it works out pretty nicely. Tago away from Byfield, gets the ball into the front post where Iro is there to look after it and push away.
Well, it comes from a lack of pressure on Elliott, and he plays a long ball forward, which gives Tago the opportunity to go one-on-one with Byfield, and in the end he sends him the right way on the outside, and Blake Iro just covers that near post, but corner conceded.
Charlton corner, dealt with by Spurs. And it's good work by Luca Williams-Barnett to bring the ball away. Now will be a yellow card, and quite rightly so.
Yeah, driving run from Williams-Barnett, draws the foul. Samuel Mauer with the challenge from behind.
Well, he's back up and he's moving well, and that is crucial for Spurs. Thompson, who was so good in the first half, has to go back this time. Williams-Barnett not given room to spin. Charlton come away with the ball. Byfield is there to cover and will get there ahead of Tago, but it hasn't exactly been the most intense and, I don't know, skillful start to the second half as far as Spurs are concerned.
No, just a little bit sloppy, and again, lack of quality and pace about the way that they're moving the ball and allowing Charlton to use their physicality to get close and make the game scrappy. Need to control the ball with the possession, but quality possession.
Crunching challenge. Burn, well, he concedes a free kick, but I think he's come off worse for wear.
Well, Valentini, he clashes with Valentine. They both go for the ball, totally committed, and he's penalised, I think a little unfortunately.
That's good football, really nice. Soloza trying to turn and Byfield comes away with it.
Yeah, a couple of important interceptions from Byfield at the start of this second half.
Belton wide to Davis. Trying to drive forward from that left back position. Clever turn by Reed. Still has Upson for company. Here's Tago, and it's gone all the way across the face, and luckily for Spurs, nobody there waiting to finish off.
Yeah, really difficult period at the start of the second half for Spurs. Ball played in behind, fired through the 6-yard box, and as you rightly said, Adam, no one at the back post for an easy tap-in.
Well, Charlton's corner looked after by Upson. Spurs are really under the cosh. It was an unusual cross and an unusual decision. Luckily for Spurs. Williams-Barnett was certainly fouled there. No whistle from the referee.
Yeah, I think he was caught by Davis as he tried to hook that ball forward. Got his boot on it, but then was kicked by Davis. Referee was right on hand, said play on. It's a bright Charlton start to this second half.
Reed is driving and Iro does well, down very quickly, and will ask for some calm, and it does feel as though that calm is needed. Absolutely.
No pressure on the ball. Ruben Reed with the fierce shot, and it drops on it nicely. Does Iro as Ty Hall's caught.
Well, Charlton's coach is Jason Pearce, who you may remember because it wasn't so long ago that he was playing in the Football League, was with Leeds and with Portsmouth, former Charlton player, and he was a captain and a leader and a winner on a number of occasions, won a number of promotions, and the way that he played is represented in the way that this team play. They are committed and physical, and there have been a few bumps and scrapes for the Spurs players, and this one doesn't look particularly good for Tottenham Hotspur.
No, I think he's been caught across that left thigh as Ty Hall. And Stewart wouldn't be wanting to lose him at this stage of the game.
And that being said, this break with Charlton on top might not do Spurs any harm.
Yeah, just break the momentum. That is a sore one, but hopefully he's going to be able to run that off, Ty Hall.
Yeah, hopefully not a dead leg. Spurs have gone back, circulating the ball, and they nearly lost it too. Adewale waits for the run, and the run arrives. Off goes Feeney, has a look, Lehane was lurking. And so too was the Charlton defender, Elliott.
Yeah, it's a good clearance in the end because it's a good run down that right-hand side from George Feeney. Tries to wind it into the Haynes path, and Elliott does well just to clear and concede the corner. First break, really, that Spurs have created in this second period. 8 minutes into the second half.
Well, Burn has got a wonderful left foot, and he's got a chance to use it here. Curling ball into the front post, and Spurs did get the touch. Just the slightest of flakes. It wasn't quite enough, and it goes sailing wide.
Yeah, and it's George Feeney who's on the end of what is an excellent delivery, winding it into that near post area. And Jemiah Byfield at that back post just couldn't get on and close that gap between him and the far post.
It's a lovely move by Spurs that didn't quite work out, but might just be enough to get them back into their groove here, although Charlton are at it again. Moa bursting wide, looking for Wales. Ball gets caught under his feet, he's won it back. Here's the chance. Just can't find the room for it. They have, oh! Rattled the bottom of the post. Iro was certainly beaten. Reed will get another go, this time Byfield in the way. Spurs are living very dangerously at the back, but they have got away with it here.
They have, and it's Ruben Reed in the end with a strike, but look at the number of white shirts dropping back into that 18-yard box. They're inviting the pressure.
That's Reed again. Slips the challenge, and it's cleared off at the line. I think it was Byfield who got the final touch. Well, Reed has played up a couple of times with Charlton's under-23 setup. He's skillful, physical, really looks the part.
I'm very unfortunate not to draw this game level with that strike.
Williams-Barnett has stolen it here. Spurs are in. Oh, it's magical. It's a masterpiece. It's an artist at work, and it's a hat-trick for Luca Williams-Barnett, and it's the goal that Spurs so dearly needed in this final.
Absolutely, you've got to say against the run of play, but his opportunism and wonderful skill and ability. Closes the centre half quickly, and then when he wins it, just look at the composure. He sends the goalkeeper down, he drags it away from him, and he just taps it home for a hat-trick. A wonderful performance and a much-needed third goal.
Well, what a season this young man has had. On the bench in the Europa League, has been with the first team, has scored a hat-trick here tonight, and that may just be the game-changing goal.
Well, Adam, that is a big moment in this cup final, but a player of outstanding ability. For me, the way he takes it is coolness personified. Fabulous confidence in his ability, and a vital third goal. So close. Charlton hit the post at a minute before at one end. Spurs, Williams-Barnett capitalising on a mistake to give Spurs that 2-goal buffer.
Well, that's another player with so much potential coming through the academy. We've seen a few over the last couple of years.
Well, you always say big players playing big games, and Williams-Barnett has certainly had a big game tonight.
Certainly has.
Just need to step up a little bit, be braver, defend higher, not in their own 18-yard box. They're inviting that pressure, and Charlton went very close to equalising.
Well, it's Charlton again. They're not giving up just yet. Thompson nearly took it away. Tago's delivery, and Upson couldn't take any risks. Here is Wales looking for his second of the night. Well, anything you can do, he can do too. Flashed into the corner, what a goal.
It is a fine, fine strike from Wales. Left foot hit perfectly back across the goal, giving Iro absolutely no chance. But look at the numbers of white shirts back in that 18-yard box. No pressure on the edge of the box, as it was for the first Charlton goal. And again, Wales capitalises on the opportunity with a fine left foot strike.
Oh, here we go all over again, game on.
It's a fabulous contest, it really is, and you've got to give Charlton credit. They've responded to going behind twice now.
Well, it's a bit too easy for Charlton to navigate their way up into Spurs penalty area, and now with Manu Wales chasing a hat-trick, he's got that extra added incentive and that hunger to try and push on here.
Williams Barnett has gone to ground.
Barnett. Well, Williams Barnett is back up. Upson is trying to get away from Reed. Well, there will be a Spurs change. And it will be Moncur who will go. He's worked ever so hard in midfield here this evening. It's a like-for-like change as Bangura comes in. Good night for Ronnie Moncur. Going from strength to strength within this setup. Can't imagine there will be too much in the way of change in terms of approach, but I could be wrong there. Does look as though Ty Hall is up in midfield.
Yeah, I think Bangura's gone in at right back and Upson's come across to play right-sided centre-half, maybe. We'll see it as it unfolds.
Yeah, we shall see. Here is Elijah Upson looking for the flick on from Lehane. And you're right, Bangura is at right back. Well, he's played over the course of the season, often in midfield, but it's one of the things that we see often in the academy, but also it's an expectation that players can play in a number of positions.
Well, I think he's been detailed to try to occupy Ruben Reed, who's been very impressive on that left-hand side.
Tago has lost it, Spurs have won it back, and here he is, Williams Barnett with Lehane ahead of him.
He's struggling though.
Yeah, you can see he's
that
holding
left
his
calf.
left calf, yeah. It might just be better, I know it's a final, but it might be better for him to leave the field. Bangura's dived in and Charlton have got the chance to grab another. That's a wonderful sliding challenge to deny the hat-trick.
With a brilliant block on Wales as he's run from the halfway line, skipping past players and challenges.
Well, this is lucky for Spurs. Williams Barnett, we've seen him score from here, and he fancied his luck. And he's going to keep going here. That's not going to do the leg any good.
Elliott with a challenge from behind and picks up a yellow card. A fabulous carry of the ball from Williams Barnett again. 3 red shirts around him. The centre-half coming from behind, crashes into him.
There was a little bit of the Jack Grealish about the way that he moved there, minus the calf muscles, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. if he had Jack Grealish's calf muscles, he wouldn't be feeling the way he does right now. But a chance for physios to come on, just to take a breather, just to get suck that air in for these young Spurs players who certainly have been put on the rack in this second half.
Well, he has been superb in this game, Williams-Barnett. He's delivered consistently over the season, but it's in big games, as you say, where you need big players to turn up, and he's certainly done that here. 3 for the night.
Well, nothing more so than his hat-trick goal, the way he won the ball back, his ability, composure and confidence to finish it off in the way that he did. But it's a game that's still in the balance, Adam. It really is. It's a cup final. The pressure will be on right to the end, I feel. Harry Byrne might fancy this from this angle with his left foot. Williams-Barnett, thankfully, is up.
Well, Ty Hall has been replaced here, and Jamal Beggs will come in. I won't say that that is a like-for-like replacement, because I've fallen into that trap in this game already, but it would seem likely that he would move into midfield. And Ty Hall, who's done a sterling job filling in at centre-back here tonight, is replaced with Spurs having a shuffle.
Yeah, just some fresh legs. I think Upson will play alongside Janai Byfield in the heart of the defence.
Spurs free kick, through the wall and in!
Fine strike, wonderful left foot that Harry Byrne possesses, drills it into the far corner. Let's not forget the free kick won by Williams-Barnett, carried the ball brilliantly, drew the challenge, won the free kick, but Harry Byrne steps up from the angle with a superbly struck left foot shot into the far corner.
Well, a goal worthy of any occasion. Harry Byrne blasting right into that corner. The goalkeeper will perhaps feel that he should have got there, but the wall didn't do its job. Harry Byrne certainly did.
Well, it is the goalkeeper's side. When they line the wall up on the left-footed shots coming round the wall, that is for the goalkeeper to deal with, but it was beautifully struck. Great direction and power.
Well, there is one thing that this team know how to do very well, and that is score goals. And they have racked them up over the season, and they've done that here at the Lamex in perhaps the most important game of the season, although this team are still in the hunt for the league. Number of games in hand. That's a Charlton corner. And it's one that's taken short to Reed. Reed delivers. And Spurs have dealt with that momentarily, at least. Well, at 4-2 up, you'd think you'd know which way this one was going, but
don't say that. This is a Charlton side that do keep going. We've seen it in this competition and the results they've achieved.
Not the pass that was required from Tina Thompson. Soloza. Cuts away from one, and Thompson did well actually, because he gave the ball away, but he came back to win it back for Spurs.
Yeah, he did really well, tracking back, helping his defenders and then nicking the ball back.
And Lehane at the other end will have to wait, and Williams-Barnett arrives. And he will go for goal. And that was sailing in. It was swerving so awkwardly for the goalkeeper. Big stretch from him. Wooden pushes away, just.
And the ball moving, the way he strikes through it, you can see it's moving in the air. The goalkeeper actually does really well to push it over the crossbar. Williams-Barnett, full of confidence. A wicked strike, and unfortunate not to beat the keeper, even from 20 yards out.
Well, he does play with a real swagger, and he's got the talent to back that up. Luca Williams-Barnett nearly scored his 4th of the night, which would have been an incredible tally. He may yet still. We've still got 20 minutes, of course. And given the way that this game is playing out, wouldn't be too surprised to see a few more. Here is Byrne into the front post. It will bounce, and it will come to Thompson. And Thompson unselfishly lifts in, and it's hooked away by Dawkins.
That was a heady chance for Feeney as well from the Thompson cross. Clever cross.
It's been a bit chaotic over the last 5 minutes, it's fair to say. Well, neither Thompson nor Byrne can find a way to get the ball forward. Belton's touch. Out to Valentine.
Yeah, Thompson doing his defensive job well, but has actually pulled up with either cramp or a strain there. Has worked tirelessly down that left-hand side.
Well, he's going to need a spot of treatment here.
I think that might be the end of Tynan Thompson, who's had an outstanding game this evening.
Substitutions for Spurs, leaving the field is number 10, Luca Williams-Barnett.
Well, the hat-trick boy impresses again and again and again. And he is replaced, having left a big mark on the night.
Oh, wonderful contribution. 3 fantastic goals.
Well, Dexter Oliver will slot in and play that same role. Was ever so good, actually, in the last outing against West Ham. He's onto it here. He's threaded it through, and instantly made an impact, but Lehane couldn't finish the move.
What a chance. Maybe the chance to wrap this cup final up. Wonderful cut pass into the run of Lehane, trying to lift it over the goalkeeper. What a start that would have been from Dexter Oliver had he made the 5th goal. Really clever pass, and Lehane just couldn't lift it over the keeper.
He's another Dexter Oliver who's really been on the rise in the second half of the season. Straight up to the pace of the game. And Byrne, who scored the 4th. I was looking for the late run of Feeney, who was coming in around the back, and Feeney's not entirely sure here why it's not another Spurs corner from the other side.
Yeah, it should have been. You just see the way that the Spurs players reacted. They felt that the final touch was off the Charlton defender.
Substitutions for Charlton replacing 7 Bradley to go is 16 Brandon Richmond.
To go's been lively on that right-hand side. Both wingers have. He's replaced by Richmond. And this is the player we expected to see from the start.
Replacing for Jack Belton is 14 Ellis McMillan.
Belton, who has worked tirelessly in that midfield, is replaced by McMillan, who scored in the semi-final, scored in the quarter-final of this competition, their top goal scorer over the course of the season.
Well, 15 minutes to go, maybe a few extra minutes added on as well. And Charlton very soon need to try to close that gap again. And McMillan has been a player who has been in goal scoring form for them in this competition, scoring in the previous 2 rounds.
That's nicely worked by Spurs through midfield, but the pass was just behind George Feeney. Jamal Beggs will work it round the corner. Beggs is there again. Feeney tried to flick, ended up flicking it to himself. He's done pretty well. Down into the corner he goes. Spurs are able to waste some seconds. It's difficult for Spurs from here because you can't really go chasing the game because you leave yourself open at the back, but sit back and you invite pressure from a team that have been really good in this game.
Yeah, you don't want to sit back too deep. You have to be brave enough to defend outside the 18-yard box. As I say, Feeney penalised for the challenge on Wales.
I do find it really interesting that Stuart Lewis, who is a very defensive-minded player,
Holding
coaches
midfield player.
a very, very attacking team.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you find that players in their careers and managers, when they become managers, are not what they were as players.
That's another driving run by Soloza, recently signed professional contract with Charlton, very, very highly regarded by the club, and well, they certainly know how to spot a player. McMillan, the substitute, curls in a cross that doesn't really get the connection that Elliott, the centre-back who was forward, was hoping for. Charlton will get another go to deliver, and they send one straight into the gloves of Iro. It's a comfortable catch for the Spurs keeper. Burn was under pressure, felt that he had to get rid.
Yeah, no chances, just pumping that ball down the channel. Ruben Reid offside.
Well, it does feel as though a game that has been pretty frantic, especially in the second half, has lost a bit of energy.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether that is a move that's been made on purpose in a way by Spurs, just knocking the ball around at the back. I think it probably suits Spurs more than Charlton.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that the fatigue started to set in for both sets of players. Moving that ball quickly and efficiently, 1 and 2 touches they have.
Well, here is Oliver, and that was really unselfish, and that was a really clever touch. And what a smart finish from Reece Elliott-Paris. Well, we've really seen some beauties tonight, but that was special, very special indeed. The pass from Oliver, and then the touch and strike from Reece Elliott-Paris, and Spurs have 5.
And Adam, when you want your substitute to impact the game, that's exactly what Stuart Lewis changes have done. Dexter Oliver, couple of brilliant subtle passes. This one to Elliott Reece-Paris, who does brilliantly. Confidence in his ability to weave past the defender and fires it into the roof of the net, and maybe just fires Spurs to this cup final win.
Well, it's the relief that we have been searching for, but it's a goal of real quality.
And it's the substitutes. How many times do substitutes impact the game? And that's exactly what's happened to Stuart Lewis's side tonight. And those two there, Dexter Oliver, brilliant pass, and a wonderful Elliott Reece-Paris finish.
Well, there has been this wonderful competition this season between the two number 9s, Ellis Lehane, Reece Elliott-Paris, and well, it continues to rage on, and it's a wonderful problem to have for the coaching staff. But Reece Elliott-Paris, well, he just pops his head up and says, "Don't you go forgetting about me. This is what I'm all about." And it's the breathing room that Spurs were hoping to find. And off he goes again, Dexter Oliver. He has really, really come alive since coming on. Ellis Lehane, well, the ball gets stuck under his feet. Looked as though he was about to add his name to the score sheet.
Adam, that was quite brilliant again from Dexter Oliver. He shrugged off an opponent, and then he had the quality and the vision to just roll it for Lehane. I thought we should have swept it first time. The opportunity from where he was in the 18-yard box was to finish it first time. He took a touch and the chance was lost. But wonderful work from Dexter Oliver.
For Charlton, replacing number 9, Emmanuel Soloza, is 15, Shirley Burnham.
Soloza is the one who makes way, and it's Burnham who comes on for Charlton for the final 8 minutes plus injury time here. Good defending by Spurs, back to recover. Ellis Lehane, he's the latest to rob the ball. Maybe should have got rid of that one from under his feet a bit earlier.
Great run and tenacity to win the ball from the long pass forward.
Well, Charlton are in at the other end, surely not another goal. Not to be. Iro raced out and dived at the feet of the substitute, and Burnham could only put over the top of the bar.
Yeah, it does really well totally committed is Iro to deny him a clear-cut chance. Has the opportunity, opens up, tries to side-foot it into the top corner. Iro throwing himself in the way.
Can't stop talking about the trophy yet, can we?
Absolutely not, no.
No, okay.
Upson has gone down with cramp now, trying to get back when that ball was played in behind the Spurs defence. Quite a number of the players you can see feeling the effects and fatigue setting in.
Well, looks as though he's about to continue. Might have to hobble his way through the final 5 minutes here.
Well, that wasn't the ball that Upson wanted from Dexter Oliver.
No, not at all. Here is Reid. Reid will strike. Well, he's flashed that one over the top of the bar.
Well, both centre-halves now are limping. Janai Byfield and Elijah Upson. You can see they're not moving at all freely.
Reid certainly is, but luckily off target. Looks like the massage team are going to be pretty busy tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully in a happy dressing room. Yeah, time to run the clock down now. No hurry from Harry Byrne to throw this back into play.
Reece Elliott, Paris will chase absolutely everything. Tirelessly working, and what a goal it was from him here in a night of them for Spurs. Charlton on the break. Burnham waiting, holding up, waiting for Richmond, who slowly makes his way forward here.
Defending from Bangura, not committing himself, just staying goal side. And again, making a really well-timed tackle.
Cleared away by Bangura in the end. Back with Charlton. Well, Spurs players not taking the risk. They were a bit concerned there about diving in to make the challenge. Eventually Byrne is the one to bring it clear. That's a really clever flick. It nearly made it through to Lehane from Dexter Oliver. 2 minutes remain of the 90. And Richmond, luckily for Spurs, is in an offside position.
Yeah, as a back four, when that ball goes forward and you see that flag go up, especially at this stage of the game.
Oliver sweeps it wide. Miracle Adewale will just take it down into that corner. It's clever play, and he's still going here, Miracle Adewale. There will be a booking. Spurs will take that booking for now. Confirmation of that yellow card for Jamal Beggs. Miss Elliott Paris driving clear. That will do.
There will be 5 minutes by time. That's 5 minutes.
There will be a minimum of 5 added to the end of the game, though. Well, they have worked ever so hard, this Spurs team, to make sure tonight they've shown a wonderful clinical edge in front of goal, a determination to steal the ball back high up the field, and when they've got themselves into good positions, they've really used those positions. Now they just have to hold on for 4 minutes.
Yeah, have to manage this final few minutes. A lot of tired legs out there, but just keeping their heads.
Not sure what the DJ's up to. Off goes Byrne. Byrne's lost it though, and Byfield has seen enough of that. Well played. Very well played indeed.
Yeah, cool and commanding as Harry Byrne been in that left-back position.
Well, they are in behind here, Charlton, still looking to get on the score sheet, and they have a glorious chance to do that. McMillan on the slide just couldn't get the touch.
Yeah, it's a good break. Fizz through the 6-yard box, and McMillan throwing himself at the back post, just couldn't get the all-important final touch. And Bangura penalised for the challenge, but a good free kick to give away at this stage of the game.
That's a wonderful block.
I have to say, good contributions, certainly from Dexter Oliver, Elliott Rees-Parrish since coming on.
Byrne's really grown into the game. Scored a brilliant goal, but he does so much on that left-hand side of defence. And look at him here. Well, he's lost it right on cue, but he's
got it back again.
He's had a very good night.
He certainly has.
Dexter Oliver, well, he could release the pass, but he deserves more than that here, and he does decide to go for goal, and given that Spurs have this game in the bag, had every right to.
Oh, cameo roll from Dexter Oliver, but he has been really influential in the final stages of this game, closing this game out, and he deserved something out of that, the way he dispossessed his opponent, attacked Charlton's defence, and then his shot deflected away for a corner. No hurry to take it. See the game out. But Dexter Oliver, fabulous performance off the bench.
Charlton looking for what would only be a consolation. Reid almost deserves something tonight for the way that he's performed. It's a good save by Iro.
Yeah, push him up, get the team as high up the field as you can now.
Spurs under-17s are the Premier League Cup champions. For Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen and this brilliant academy, it's yet more silverware. They just keep on producing the goods. Luca Williams-Barnett with a sparkling show and a hat-trick. Brilliant goals from Byrne and then substitute Elliot Paris. Spurs shoot their shot. And it's another cup, and Spurs do go marching on, and it finishes here, Spurs 5, Charlton 2. Well, what a night. What a night for these players, what a night, Clive Allen, for the coaching staff who've worked so hard over the last couple of years to bring these guys through and to bring this success.
Yeah, nights like this, massive learning curve for a lot of these young players in this sort of environment, a real test of their character. It was a very good contest, but one in which they came out with showing some great quality at the end. Determination and quality, culmination of a lot of hard work through the academy, and these young players progressing nicely.
Well, he was the star of the show, our number 10, Luca Williams-Barnett. And it was a performance that really had everything, but it was the third goal that really typified the way that he went about his business here this evening. Yeah,
he had a wonderful night. 3 goals to his credit, but a fabulous way in which he contributed to the team. His contribution was massive, and the quality of the third goal just summed up the wonderful ability that he has.
Well, Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen are looking more than just to instill good footballing skills into these players. They want to grow the team in life. They want to give them life skills that they can take away. And you can see this team really growing, really starting to become ready for what will be the next step. And for now, well, big celebrations that this team so dearly deserve.
Yeah, wonderful scenes, wonderful experience for these young guys. They've worked very hard to achieve this.
Malachi Hardy there in shock, missed out tonight, but he's had a big hand in the progress of this team all the way to the final. It hasn't just been tonight, there have been plenty of games that have preceded this one. And Stuart Lewis said to me before the start of this game, he wants the players to be the best versions of themselves.
Absolutely, on the big nights, in the pressure situations, and they've done that well. They've pegged back twice in this game tonight. and it was a real test of their characters, and they've come through, and they've all played their part, not only the 11 that started, but the contributions of the substitutes have been massive as well. A whole team group effort.
Your brother in there with a bit of dancing.
Yeah, he's enjoyed himself. And so they should.
Yeah, they really should.
Winning is a difficult thing to do, and winning is a very, very good habit to achieve.
Well, this academy are certainly getting into that habit, and we've seen the players who came through from the previous cup wins go from strength to strength, but the habits that have been instilled in them have stood them in such good stead. And I'm talking about George Abbott, who's doing brilliantly at Notts County, and Jamie Donnelly at Leyton Orient, and hopefully these players can follow in their footsteps and can use that as an inspiration.
Absolutely, and it becomes a habit, but also it becomes a benchmark for the succeeding groups and the younger groups developing, that they have to strive for. Great levels of performance that they need to acquire to play for this fabulous football club.
Why do you think we're seeing such levels of success at the moment within the academy?
Well, it has to be obviously the work that's done on the training field, the tireless effort that goes in from the staff, from the young players who have that desire, belief, and they want to improve. They always want to get better and start to win consistently.
I said this earlier on in the game, it must be remembered and it must be stressed that lots of this group are only first-year scholars, so they are very fresh.
It's a really nice situation to find yourself in, and a habit that you want to continue throughout your career.
We prepare here for what will be a wonderful moment for these players, and a feeling that we would love to see them get time and time again in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt.
I've got to say, I think the standards were set when the team 2 years ago, the 17s, won the competition against Nottingham Forest, and those pictures, those photographs, those memories from that night still ring round the training centre, and these youngsters have emulated that, which is a fantastic achievement. And they've seen what those young players have gone on to do. Donnelly, a full international. Mikey Moore has played in the Europa League, in the Premier League. And the ambitions of these young players will be exactly the same. And they're learning how to achieve that.
Our 6 academy players have gone on to feature for the first team this season. So it really is a change within the club. There is now a guiding light towards that first team. And there are players who are leading the way. And these young players will have their feet on the ground because they know the graft and the hard work it takes, because they've seen the likes of Mikey Moore and George Abbott and the like day in, day out, and the kind of effort that is required.
Oh, they know it's just the start. It's a very, very good start to their careers, but it is only the beginning.
Now, lots of this team have already been fortunate enough to be around the first team, so again they are understanding the habits that are needed for elite level players day in, day out.
A very, very happy group.
Taking place on the pitch now is a presentation of the U17 Premier League Cup Final. Making the presentation today is Jamil from the Premier League. Please welcome to the pitch, Jamil. Firstly, please show your appreciation to this evening's match officials, the referee Luke Scott and his assistants Thomas Cook, Adam Jackson and the fourth official Jordan Cosley.
Well, we have to say, Clive, that Charlton this evening, they really equipped themselves well. It was a proper test, wasn't it, for Spurs?
It certainly was. It was a very good contest, one in which Spurs had to be at their best to eventually take this trophy. They needed quality, they needed ability, they needed courage against a Charlton side that were very, very rugged. They stayed in the game and asked lots of questions and acquitted themselves, as you say, Adam, very, very well.
Now, it wouldn't be too surprising to see a number of these players feature the Charlton players for the first team sometime soon, because they've had so many players who've made that step up over recent years, and they're going ever so well at the moment in League One, and possibly we may even see these players feature in the Championship if Charlton go that way.
Yeah, and I think a number of them very, very talented young players who will have careers, there's no doubt.
Ruben Reid on the left-hand side was really one that caught the eye, and of course 2 very good goals from Manu Wales. Did themselves proud.
And it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Please give a big round of applause to the U17 Premier League Cup winners, Tottenham Hotspur!
Well, here come the Spurs. What a night it has been for this group. What a wonderful performance. Ty Hall, who filled in at the back. Excellent in the place of Malachi Hardy. There is Byrne, who crashed in a superb free kick. Iro, well, he had a few wobbles tonight, but he also made a number of top saves. Elijah Upson had his work cut out up against the winger Reid, and was one of those who kind of hobbled all the way to the final whistle. And Luca Williams-Barnett in the middle there with the match ball after his super hat-trick. Tina Thompson, creator on the left-hand side. Sam Archer, who didn't make it tonight, but certainly one to keep an eye on for the future. Malachi Hardy just coming through too. Didn't play tonight, but again, what a special player. And the final man, the captain, the leader at the back, Janai Byfield. Oh, there we go. Spurs have done it. It's another trophy for the academy, who keep on going from strength to strength. Congratulations to Stuart Lewis, to Bradley Allen, and to all of the players here tonight. They have been superb. And Spurs are the Premier League Cup champions. Well, thank you for being here for this one on Spurs Play on what has been a really fabulous night. Clive, it's been a pleasure.
No, thoroughly enjoyed it. A fabulous under-17 performance. Young talent that is emerging, is learning, and is learning how to win.
Amen to that. Spurs 5, Charlton 2, and another piece of silverware for this Super Academy.